the WSOP isn't going to be messing around this summer. Like they, I think, are ready and willing to enforce these rules to the fullest extent. Then they won't be afraid to ban people, no matter the pushback or uproar.
It's the PokerNews Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 964th episode of the PokerNews Podcast, presented by WPT Global. I'm Chad Holloway, joined by two-time Online Player of the Year Mike Holtz and 2006 World Series of Poker Player of the Year Jeff Madsen at Level 9 Studio in Las Vegas. It's going to be a good episode. We're going to talk about the World Series of Poker. It is less than 2 weeks away as this episode comes out, and there have been some announcements regarding the new dealer system, some rule changes that a lot of people are concerned about will reflect on the 20-year anniversary of Jeff Madsen's Player of the Year. We'll talk about the TDA Summit and the conversation about headphones, and we'll go over recent tournament winners from Aussie Millions in the EPT Monte Carlo. Let's talk about this new dealer rating system that was announced. It's going to be on the WSOP Live app, formerly known as the WSOP Plus app. So WSOP Live, there'll be a new dealer rating system, 5 stars, sounds like Uber or Lyft, whatever you want to call it. When you play with the dealer, you can rate them. It's supposed to incentivize them. Maybe they'll get bonuses. A lot of people said good idea. A lot of other people said bad idea. Jeff, Mike, what's your take on this? Do you like this, or do you think it's a bad idea?
I think it could be a good idea, but I think that, early on in the series, there are a lot of fresh dealers, and they do improve over the series. So, I don't want them to be scared and they're, subconsciously worried about a bad rating. But, I think ideally if it were you could only give them credits and no demerits, or, there was no negativity related and more just the good dealers get good, good credits. So I don't know. I think it could be good, but I think it's a slippery slope. And what if you just don't like a dealer, or they give you a bad river card, and some people just give a bad rating that way,
And
so
Mike doesn't. Mike won't like that. Mike likes to get bad feedback. He likes the negative. He likes to crush dealer
complain
souls
at restaurants. Yeah.
I am either a 5-star or a 1-star man. I'm not out there giving 4 stars. What can I say?
Yeah.
I love to complain at restaurants. Do not
I'm
put that
sorry.
on me. That is not true.
You like everything nice and how it's supposed to be. It wasn't a bad thing.
I do like things how they're supposed to be.
I'm a little socially awkward. I don't want to complain unless it's really bad. But you make sure everything's perfect. It's
which is why I would like the dealers to be perfect at the World Series of Poker.
Right.
I think that system in general, I think it's a bad idea. Right. I think it's a bad idea to let a group of people as dumb as poker players, right? But in all seriousness, you are going to have the people who are like, this, he gave me a bad river card, 1 star, etc. I think what's better is a comment sheet, right? Not unless there's a sheet, but just a thing in there, maybe you want to put a comment about the dealer, right? You want to say hey, the dealer's exposing cards when they do this. I don't know who would complain about that, cough.
Right.
But I think if I'm being honest, I think the problem with this is I think it's addressing a problem with the players instead of going to the root concern, which is the WSOP, right before the WSOP hires 1 million new dealers, and then they get put with a trial by fire, with the WSOP being their first experience dealing cards. So it's May 27th, and you got people who have never dealt cards dealing 5K buy-ins to guys who have expected a level of dealing that's at the top, right? Yeah. So the issue is, if I'm the WSOP and I want to improve dealers, I'm getting them in 3 or 4 days earlier than they do every year, and really trying to hammer in how to deal poker. It's really, and if it's your first WSOP, you'll see your local card room, the dealers are better. Yeah. Well, let me ask this: what stops WSOP from hiring someone just to go around as quality control for the dealers at the beginning, someone like me to walk around and be okay, this dealer is clearly doing this incorrectly, or this is happening here, or talking to play. You know what I mean? I think there needs to be some sort of liaison or someone. So WSOP should hire someone or multiple people to walk around to do to look for cheating security purposes. And I'll give you an example of something in real life. Right? You ever see those things posted up in the parking lots with the police thing on them, and they flash red and blue? I don't know what they're for, but I'm not doing crime near one of those. You know what I mean?
I never hardly ever do crime near those.
Me either. I always choose a different place for crime. So if I'm a cheater and I see a guy going around looking for cheating, I'm going to be much less likely to do it. And I think it just makes it so the dealers are on their best behavior, and you can easily improve things.
Yeah.
Our friend of the podcast, Jeff Platt, actually released a video. If you don't know what we're talking about, check it out.
Always trying to get better at the World Series of Poker. Big part of that, player experience. Big part of that, we know, dealers. So we are happy to introduce the Rate Your Dealer function on this beautiful WSOP Live app. Sitting at a table, you can rate your dealer on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. What we really want to do is to elevate our good dealers, to reward our good dealers with bonuses perhaps, to get them on the big stage here at the World Series of Poker. We want good dealers. You guys are gonna help us with that. Speaking of good dealers, 2 aces. Time to rate my dealer 5 stars. What's that? You don't rate just based on the cards, it's on their actual skill. And I can't be on the, okay, bye-bye. Rate Your Dealer WSOP Live app.
All right, so there you have it from Jeff Platt himself. They're going to do this. The WSOP likes their technology with the WSOP Live app, building this feature in there. I'm sure they're prepared for if, arbitrary negative reviews come rolling in. There was a poll on PokerNews asking your thoughts. So what are your thoughts on the WSOP dealer rating system? It was 53% saying I like it and it should improve dealer quality. 32% said I don't think it's right to rate dealers. 15% was unsure. So, look, I'll give WSOP credit. They're trying something new to address an issue that's been longstanding. I think this is my 18th World Series of Poker coming up, and dealer quality, especially at the beginning, has always been an issue. So let's wait and see how it plays out. Likewise, for a rule change that was very highly discussed, we put off talking about this for a little bit here on the show, but knew we were ultimately going to. Basically, a rule that was shared widely on social media, Rule 40, Section E, which basically addresses what happened last year, the Club WPT Gold $1 million bonus giveaway that resulted in the Millie Maker, Jesse Yaganuma, James Carroll, $1 million. No bracelet was awarded, etc. It was a shit show. We talked about it on this podcast. It was one of the biggest stories of the year. Mike, now they have a rule in place that is aimed at preventing that, but also a lot of people are worried is going to affect other things. What did you hear about this?
Yeah, so people are concerned that the rule, which is basically that you cannot accept outside money to influence anything. Do you have the rule in front of you where you can read the exact wording?
Yeah, I got it pulled up. So it's worth noting that the WSOP rules, which I can link to in the show notes, are 41 pages long. But under Section 4, Participant Conduct and Tournament Integrity, Part 40, Section E, host properties will penalize any act that, in the sole and absolute discretion of host properties, is inconsistent with these WSOP official tournament rules or the best interest of the WSOP tournament. Such acts include, but is not limited to, the participant accepting any payment or prize from a third-party person or entity, e.g. person to a promotion, product, or service, based on the outcome or results of any WSOP event, in which case the participant shall forfeit all of the WSOP prize money. If the prize money has already been paid to the participant, then the host property shall have the right to return of the prize money plus interest. That is the rule.
Okay, so the rule is pretty crazy in that it's very broad, right? So people are concerned that it's going to affect buying action, where you buy a player's action, someone buys $5K, you want to get half his action, you pay $2,500, and then you get half the profit from the tournament, right? So people are afraid that that's going to happen. Also, very common is swapping. You're deep in a tournament, your buddy's deep in a tournament, there's 15 people left. I say, hey, take 10% of me, I take 10% of you, reduces the variance. People are afraid that now is falling under this rule. Now, I've talked to some people at WSOP and everything. That is not what they mean. They do mean simply the Club WPT Gold promotion or promotions like it. They're just trying to deter those. I think you're playing with fire, man. I think you're kind of Streisand affecting it a little bit in that you posted that. Now all of a sudden WPT Gold, Club WPT Gold is just posting 50 million. They're posting a bunch of stuff like they make it seem like they're going to bring up the heat. I don't know about you guys. I get offered $4 million, $3 million for something like this. I don't know. WSOP can come see me in court, right? Like,
I've talked to WSOP officials as well. It's not, the 25K fantasy is another thing that came to mind, but it's not geared at that sort of stuff. Could it apply? Yeah, possibly by the wording of it, but that's not why they introduced this. That's not the goal of it. It is to combat Club WPT Gold and similar promotions. They want to protect the integrity of their tournament and their game from these outside third parties. Now, as Mike hinted at, Club WPT Gold already said basically sounds like they're going to double down. I don't know what that might mean. We don't have details. Are they going to offer $2 million or more? I think the only way that might be effective with players is if you stand to win more from them than you do the actual WSOP. But I can tell you, having worked 18 WSOPs, knowing a lot of the individuals who work behind the scenes, like they are ready to play hardball. So like if anybody flirts with something and, actually there is a promotion and they're wearing a patch or whatever it might be, like the ban hammer will come down. Like
so you're telling me if someone wears a Club WPT Gold patch, there's going to be a ban hammer?
Yeah, don't you see? Like one of the new rules is if you're going to wear a patch, it has to be pre-approved.
Wait, yeah. I thought that's only for televised final tables.
Well, yeah, televised final tables, but assuming like you have to wear the patch. If it was like last year, you have to wear the patch, win the bracelet. That's another speed bump, if you will. My point being, though, is the WSOP isn't going to be messing around this summer. Like they, I think, are ready and willing to enforce these rules to the fullest extent, and they won't be afraid to ban people, no matter the pushback or uproar. Like they're here to play ball, so to speak. When it comes to these rules,
I just wish WSOP cared as much about stuff like this as they did about security and cheating and rake and making the players happy. It's just like, oh yeah, let's do this gigantic thing that just like, oh, the players have an opportunity to make life-changing money. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. It's like publicity is good for both. When Club WP did this last year, it produced more publicity for WSOP as well. Both teams, both entities get a positive boost from this, right? And WSOP gets a bunch of free publicity where they don't even have to pay money. So I don't know. I get it from a perspective of the business protecting itself and everything, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you're going to take away millions of dollars from somebody. Like, it's kind of,
I mean, I feel like WSOP and WPT, I mean, they both got, attention from that, but I feel like the optics were a little weaker for WSOP because it's like WPT came in as like this virus and affected their tournament, and then it's like the hands weren't even real, and so it's like the optics were not great for World Series, I guess. So
plus the World Series got in trouble. They got in trouble with the Nevada Gaming Commission. Like it was a very big deal. And I know, Mike, you and I have talked about this off the air and have differing viewpoints. And I think that's largely probably because you're more of a player and I'm more on the operator kind of side of things. Even though I do play and you're dabble in the operator side. But in terms of this, like in an ideal world, I think it would be great for the World Series of Poker to find a way to work with third parties to allow these things that boost and add money to the players. I'm not against players, getting the money. I think that, I was happy to see Jesse Yaganuma and James Carroll get paid. I would like to see them reinstated and attend this World Series of Poker. I don't know if that'll happen. But I also think if the WSOP says, we don't want you here, we don't want you to play in our yard, that the Club WPT Gold should respect that. Like, I don't like how they're a leech, if you will, on the WSOP when the WSOP is clearly saying, no, we don't want you. We don't want you here. Like, to me, the Club WPT Gold is the bad neighbor in this situation. And I know you have a little bit of a different take on that.
Oh, I mean, in my mind, it's more like if Club WPT Gold was like a parasitic entity that was like just not great and they were just leeching on to be cool. But I see them as the good guy as far as like I respect WPT much more than I do WSOP as a brand. I think they're much more player centric. I think they care much more about what players want than WSOP does. So that gives me a lens that's sort of different, right? But I do understand what you're saying about being like what they're doing does sort of, spit in the WSOP's chili they're making. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I mean, the chili's tainted a little bit.
The chili's tainted,
but I like watching the South Park chili cook-off. I like when there's a little bit of crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, World Series, it's just such a big entity, World Series, that it's like just that big like corporate thing, and WPT is a little newer, so it's easier to be like, oh, they care about the players more. But World Series is worried about, their massive operation and like, they have to. They're more, they have to make people happy, but it's like a huge brand, not that WPT isn't. As they grow, they kind of become like the superpower that, these other smaller little entities, seem like they're leeching on. But, let's be honest, the summer is mostly about the World Series, and then everything else that happens is sort of like built around it. And it's just how it is. The World Series is just that
100%.
massive. So, the chili does get, some stuff in it
a little bit. What can you do?
It's not, I don't need chili.
Is that a bean? It's not a bean. What is that?
It's not a bean. It's a magic mushroom. It's fine.
Something I wanted to quickly mention. Many poker fans are aware that this is the 3rd anniversary of the passing of the legendary Doyle Brunson. To mark the occasion, PokerNews has created a special documentary looking at his life and legacy and the huge impact that Texas Dolly had on the game of poker. It's a really cool video with some great archive footage, some stories that capture what made Doyle Brunson such an iconic figure. This is going to be released on Tuesday, which is the 19th of May. So I'd encourage you to head on over to YouTube and check it out. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that button that you don't miss it. It's on the PokerNews YouTube channel where you're probably watching this. So definitely check it out, and rest in peace, Doyle Brunson. The TDA, the Tournament Directors Association, they have a summit every other year. This year it will be taking place at PokerGo Studio. I'm sure I'll make my way over there. And he said that one of the things that they'll discuss is headphones at the poker table, because technology is getting to a point where with even little earbuds, I think the next generation that comes out next year will have camera capabilities on it. So they're going to talk about all that, which opened up a broader discussion involving especially Victoria Lifshitz and Nikki Palma about the she loves wearing headphones. Are an integral part of her game. It got a little personal between those guys, but for our purposes, what do you guys make of this whole headphones? Should they be allowed? Should they be banned? Do they just need to be policed more? Are you happy that they're taking up this topic? Jeff, let me start with you.
Yeah, they should go after this topic. Technology is getting so crazy that like a camera can be in anything and anything can be filming at any time. So you need to have some enforcement. You need to have if someone is filming with their glasses or with anything, it needs to be reported to the table, or you need to be wearing something that says I'm filming. I don't know if they should be banned. People like their music. People think, Nick Palma is annoying sometimes, or other people. I don't know what that was all about, Vicky coming at him. But I get it. You got Kasuf at the table. You might want to listen to some music and not just be wearing earplugs or something. So maybe you have it a rule that you can only have a few, you can't have the hat and the glasses, and you have 1 or 2 items. The items need to be pre-checked if they're not just standard stringed headphones. But you can't really ban music. That's going to be tough to ban music. It's going to be tough to ban sunglasses. But the issue is technology is there's going to be new ways to cheat, but then they're going to have, they have contact lenses that help you cheat. So it's how do we enforce it without security being just, like a post 9/11 situation where everyone is just crazily, patted down and all their items overly checked, and it takes so long. It's, it's hard to say, but I don't think you can take people's music away is the issue.
Mike, what do you think?
I think that as of right now, music doesn't need to be taken away, but I think we're going to get there. I think the more prevalent technology is that's capable of cheating, and the better technology gets, it's just going to be too easy. You're getting into an area now where people can wear glasses that can detect body movements, etc., and that can be uploaded to some sort of machine learning AI that could then tell you in your headphones likely, you know what I mean? So here's the thing, right? We could ban headphones and we could do all this crazy shit that affects all this, or we can just teach the dealers how to deal in a European style. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get how every poker player isn't just yelling at the operators at this point. If you're playing live poker, you're being cheated on a regular basis. That's just a fact. You can try to argue all you want, but you're being cheated, whether you know it or not. The pitch of the cards in America is bad. It's bad every time I play live, no matter where I go. Every single venue has issues. Every single venue has dealers. It gets worse in the summer, but there's people show cards when they pitch. The dealers show cards when they pitch. It is a massive problem, and there's a way to deal where you take the cards and you can literally just, I don't know if they do it with their thumb or what, but they just do it face down, and you can't, there's no pitch. There's no, if I'm throwing something up in the air, there's a risk that someone can see it. And the issue is when the dealers deal, when they're right-handed, they deal down to these players. But when they get to the 6th seat, they start to go like, and I'll show it for the camera, they start to go like this with their hand because it's natural. And for left-handed dealers, it's the opposite. And I'm telling you, when I play, and this happens all the time, I'm calling out cards left and right. And I'm like, I feel like a crazy person because everyone's like, I don't see any cards, blah, blah, blah. But it's
and
like,
if you can see it, then a camera that's picking up everything like will see it.
Exactly.
And I mean, I can speak from being in Prague recently playing there for the World Series. Like the dealing was so good, and like some of them were so fast because it allows them to deal so fast. Like, and I do agree they should just at least fix some things with the dealing that helps with the cheating. It's not going to be perfect, but if you're not showing cards, that's a big part of it.
I think banning headphones before we fix dealing, it's like, what are we doing? This doesn't even, to me, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. The TD Summit should only be about how do we make sure everyone deals correctly? Like, no other issue should even be talked about. This is the biggest issue in poker. It's not close. Every time I go and play live poker, I'm like, what the fuck? These guys, like, you guys all play this for a living every day? Like, this is insane. If online poker, every 20th hand a card got exposed, I'd be like, we should fix this. This
I mean, cheaters are going to find a way to cheat. That doesn't mean that like you should just accept that completely, but that's why they should focus more on the dealer side and like what they can do. Because, you ban everything, then, they're going to, like Hans Niemann, they'll just do like an anal thing or an anal
let's
device.
Make them do the anal thing, though.
Right. And then let's make them check every tournament.
This is the 2026 World Series of Poker. It was 20 years ago, 2006, Jeff, when you were a younger man, I think freshly 21, right? That you were at the series, took it by storm, won, I believe, 2 bracelets and Player of the Year. I want to talk a little bit about that. Reflect it back on 20 years later. What's it like for you? You're still in the poker world. You're still doing well. A lot of people can't say that they've done that for 20 years, but you've been playing poker now for half your life, literally. And what was it like looking back here 20 years later?
I mean, time really flies. It's, I know I'm an older man, but I'm just happy that I'm still in poker. Like you said, a lot of people that I played with back then are not still playing, So, it's nice to win big tournaments and stuff, but you also need the longevity and you need consistency. So I feel like just glad to still be here. You know what I mean? I've been through a lot in my career, and 20 years, it's, I started playing when I was 18. I watched Chris Moneymaker win the World Series like a lot of us did at that time. That got us started into poker, and, that and Rounders and the classic stories. So I do feel like I'm just happy to be here, and it's cool to be part of that, like, sort of, that generation, that poker boom that kind of restarted the popularity of poker was right around that time. And, just fortunate to be a part of it, still be here.
It's a couple questions for you then to harken back. Did you win anything for Player of the Year? I know they've given away a car and stuff before. Was there any prizes associated with it?
No bad blood, okay, Alan Cunningham, he won the truck. That was the 04. Then Negreanu, he won the truck. So I'm like, that's why I'm going to go play. I'm going to go and win the truck. And no truck. But something was going on with their, promotions that year. Who knows why? I do know that like there was a couple opportunities like I turned down. I was just sort of like, didn't want to do little media stuff. I don't know if that was related. Like I'm different now, but like I turned down like going on David Letterman or something, literally, and maybe Conan also. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do on national television. So maybe they didn't think I was like playing ball in that respect or whatever, but it's also could have just been
full of puns today, huh?
What?
Playing ball?
Playing ball. I love puns so much that they just come out randomly. But so I don't know what exactly happened, but they did not give me anything. No. And then the next year, I think he got like a motorcycle, and then the next year he got like $10,000. I don't know if what they're giving now, but now there's money now that we're splitting up.
Before we get to recent tournament winners, I do want to shout out MyPlayers, PokerNews' new feature that you're going to want to know about before the 2026 World Series of Poker rolls around. Basically, it is a personalized MyPlayers feed. You can go click a star icon by any player's name and personalize the list of players you want to track throughout the summer. They'll appear at the top of the chip counts. You're going to see hand updates about them, and you can access all this through your phone phone, your computer, whatever it might be. Basically, you build your stable of My Players, follow them throughout the WSOP and other tournaments that PokerNews is at. Very useful for the 25K fantasy. I'll link to it in the show notes, and you can get clicking today. Gentlemen, let's talk about recent tournament winners presented by WPT Global, starting with the Aussie Millions. First time it was back since before the pandemic. It ended up being the 5th largest ever main event for the Aussie Millions. It seemed like after a 6-year hiatus that it came back just as strong. 5th largest ever. The largest was 2019, 822 runners. So only 52 away from that. And it was one Malcolm Trainer out of Australia, taking it down for $1.3 million in a 3-way deal that included Dean Blatt and Dejan Boskovic. Malcolm Trainer won a World Series of Poker gold bracelet in 2024. I believe it was the Mystery Millions. He took down for $1 million, defeated Carson Richards heads up in that one. So now you got a bracelet winner and a Aussie Millions champ. We do have a winner interview with Malcolm Trainer, winner of the 2026 Aussie Millions. Check it out.
The 2026 Aussie Millions main event has crowned its champion, and I am delighted to be sat right next to him. Malcolm Trainer, winner of $1.3 million. Obvious question, how does it feel?
Unbelievable. It was such a roller coaster ride. I thought I was going to lose heads up, came back to one, my emotions everywhere, got my mum, my girlfriend, all my friends on the rail. It's the best feeling in the world. The
last time the Aussie Millions was held, you were grinding $300 tournaments in Sydney.
I was.
Since then, you've won APO titles, ARIA titles, a World Series ring, a World Series bracelet, and now the biggest tournament, or the most prestigious tournament, I should say, in Australian poker. Sum up what has gone into this over the last 6 years.
I mean, people often see the wins. They don't see the grind, and they don't see the losing months and months I have. So I've dedicated my life to poker the last 8 years. So winning something like this just means an unbelievable amount to me. And yeah, I can't express how much it means to me to win the most prestigious tournament in Australia.
Now, when you won your bracelet, you said that at the final table you were trying to disassociate from the money. What was your tactic coming into the final table today?
The same. I tried to leave the money out of my thought completely, and just play my best game, play my best poker. I felt I did that, and I also got great card distribution, which made me win, or helped me win.
Aussie Millions back with an all-Australian final table. Yes. Talk to me a little bit about the strength of Australian poker, and what's gone on in the environment since COVID, and how it has really rallied back.
Yeah, it's been really good to see that. I mean, the COVID boom just hit Australian poker like a storm. It was really, really good. Australian talent has gone up a lot in the last 5 years. It's very, very noticeable, and I hope it just continues to go up that way.
The one thing I noticed was you had a really big rail, family, and your mother, which is fitting that it is Mother's Day. The support of your parents and your family must be really important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a surprise that my mom came down here, so she just appeared on the rail, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, happy Mother's Day. And couldn't ask for a better Mother's Day, and you best believe she's getting a good Mother's Day present.
I think she was taking more pictures on her phone than the professional photographers are after you won. So a night out on the town, or a nice Mother's Day dinner?
Bit of both. We'll start with the dinner, and then got to have a celebration party after that.
So you have another ring, you have 2 massive trophies. What say you to a trip to Vegas for another bracelet?
Absolutely. I'm going back. I've already booked before this, so this gives me some nice spending money. I won't gamble it all the way, hopefully, but I'm keen for Vegas nonetheless.
All right, we are back to talk about the 2026 PokerStars EPT Monte Carlo. It is in the books. The 5,300 euro main event got 1,011 runners. This was the last broadcast of Joe Stapleton, aka Stapes, a good friend. He's been on the show before. He's a long career with PokerStars and the EPT. Going to move on to bigger and better things that we'll hear about more, I'm sure. But he commentated this final table that was won by Roman Stoica for 825,000 euros, defeated Bernhard Binder, who finished runner-up for 515K. Bernhard Binder, Mike, was the winner of the WSOP Paradise, if you recall.
Yeah, elite high stakes online grinder as well. Yeah, I believe you have my Stapleton.
Yeah, Stapes is one of my, probably one of my oldest friends in poker. We were hanging out in like 06, 07. Sad to see him go. He's a great commentator. You know what I mean? He's a funny guy. He's a punny guy. I like all his little puns and all his little things he says. And, you know, we don't hang out as much anymore, but we're still, you know, good friends. We always have a great time when we hang out. So he will be missed. He will be missed for sure.
That is going to do it for episode 964 of the Poker News Podcast. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, give us the 5-star review. We'll be back next week, 8 a.m. Pacific time, Thursday, with a brand new episode, and then 3 episodes a week throughout the 2026 World Series of Poker. Jeff, we'll be sure to catch up with you at the Horseshoe Paris and wish you the best of luck this summer.
Thanks, Chad. Let's have a good summer. Let's do it.